Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel, and in today's video we have a Marvel character spotlight. And this particular character is somebody we've been watching for a while if you've watched What If. So hopefully I pronounce his name right, probably not. Uatu, who is also known as the Watcher. Now we know him more as the Watcher. It is a being that is able to basically have immense power and watch the world around him, unfortunately unable to do much. So let's talk about him specifically. To do that, we have to talk a little bit about his race. So, billions of years ago, the technologically advanced race known as the Watchers decided it was their duty to help the universe's less advanced races. In their very first experiment, proposed by Ikor, who was apparently Uta's father, delegated a delegation of four brought atomic energy knowledge to the planet of Perseus. The people on that planet accepted the gift, but used it to develop nuclear weapons and engage in genocidal war. Ashamed of their actions, the Watchers vowed never again to interfere in the affairs of other races. Now, Utu tried to convince his father that even though it didn't work out here, doesn't mean that it wouldn't work out somewhere else. Well, anyway, after this incident, Ikor drafted a code of ethics based upon a strict non-interference and passive observation of the entire universe. Now, the Watcher specifically said to his father, this has got to be bad because, well, what happens if something severely destructive happens? And his father's just like, nah, I don't care. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what's going on in the entire universe. We can't interfere. It will never end well. So thousands of years later, the Watcher came across a situation that tested his vow when he witnessed a particular group of species, the Yurds, depositing atomic waste and putting it into space. This threatened many of the planets around there. Now, the Watcher watched the massive atomic waste for decades when one day he witnessed it crash into a rogue planet, and both were destroyed. Now, this kind of, for whatever reason, I'm not quite sure why, but apparently this reinforced the Watcher's father's thoughts, meaning the Watcher really thought his father was right and that he should leave things to fate. Now, each of the Watchers assigned themselves onto moons next to inhabited planets. So, Utu was given planet Earth to watch, and he constructed a cathedral on the Earth's moon. He not only just watched the history of Earth, he took it into his own, I guess, thoughts to view this entire planet in every conceivable alternate universe. Now, the reason for this was because he wanted to see if he was able to find a reality where his people did not make the grave error of not interfering. And even to this day, Utu has never found a universe that has been able to do this, meaning he's looked at multiple universes and has not found one where his people have actually started to be involved. Now, his first encounter on Earth was in the year of 1602 AD, where a possible future Captain America was sent back in time to an era um, in the time stream that threatened to rip the entire fabric of time and reality as we know it. So Utu actually went to a version of Doctor Strange in that timeline, which helped displace Captain America back to his correct time. Now, the Watcher's father, well, he basically sent it to an entire different pocket dimension to prove a point that they have to stay away from it, which is so weird to me that that's the case, but hey, things happen. Now, this isn't the first time he's actually introduced himself. Many years later, a new group of heroes known as the Fantastic Four were born when cosmic rays mutated them into super beings. Mr. Fantastic, in one of their earlier adventures, took them exploring to the blue area of the moon, which happens to be the area in which Uatu's kingdom is, aka the Watcher. Sorry. Upon arriving on the moon, they were attacked by a similar cosmic ray, enhanced Russian scientist, the Red Ghost, and his super apes. A battle broke out between the sides, prompting the Watcher to reveal himself to both the Red Ghost and the Thing. Now, he revealed his life's mission and allowed the two factions to continue their battle on the moon's surface. When the Fantastic Fours were the victors, the Watcher revealed himself once more and encouraged them to seek out the stars before deciding to leave to avoid being interrupted once again. The Fantastic Four returned to Earth while the Red Ghost and the Apes were left stranded on the moon. Sometime after this, the Watcher came to warn the Fantastic Four of the danger of the Molecular Man, a man who could control inorganic molecules. When the Watcher was satisfied that the Fantastic Four had defeated their foe, he then stepped in and captured the Molecule Man, telling them that the foe would not threaten their world again before undoing the damage done by the villain, and returning to his silent observation of Earth. Now, this becomes a problem for the Watcher because he's not supposed to interfere. It's just not supposed to happen to begin with, but overall, it's just awful. Now, because of this and many other reasons, um, the Watcher was put on trial. But before this, the Watcher disgraced himself completely by physically opposing the Kree soldier Captain Marvel after aligning himself with the Lieutenant Legion, a Kree faction opposed to Marvel, who was led by Zarek, Furpor, and Sorhim. I apologize if I butcher the names, but oh well. And they were all based in the moon's blue area. Based on the trial of his own people, the Watcher, I mean, um, for his numerous violations of the code of ethics that his people have, um, the Watcher explained that he had come to identify with the action and emotion that he observed on Earth, and thus yearned to become more involved. Now, at the conclusion of his trial, the Watcher was released from custody under his own recognizance after promising to never interfere in the affairs of other races again. Now, for those of you who don't know, he doesn't stick with it. Big shocker, right? But this is where things get a little complicated. So later on, um, the Watcher's citadel was attacked by Dr. Midas, the Exterminatrix, the Orb, and the Mindless Ones. Um, the Watcher fought the Mindless Ones and all of them, but the Exterminatrix and Midas robbed the Watcher's armory. Now, the Orb envied the Watcher's power and shot him. Now, the blast didn't kill him, but it made him unconscious. And the Orb removed one of his eyes. Now, Nick Fury himself went to investigate the event and found the Watcher recovering from the attack. Now, Fury demanded to know who the culprits were, but the Watcher refused to tell him because of his oath. Now, after realizing that the Watcher's eyes were where the things he had witnessed were saved, and the only way for him to stop the criminals before they could do anything was to have one of his eyes. That would be able to help him identify who they were. So Fury decided to kill the Watcher and take his remaining eye. Now the Watcher's corpse was found on the moon by Thor, Now, this led to an investigation on who killed the Watcher. Now, at the end of the crisis, Fury was punished by the Council of Watchers for the Watcher's, Uatu's specifically, murder. Um, they they endowed him with the remaining of the Watcher's power and turning him into the Unseen. Bound to the moon, the Unseen was forced to carry on Uatu's task of observing Earth, a punishment possibly worse than death. Now, following the attempt of a plant-like alien race called the Katiki, I'm sorry, to take over the universe, their advanced and mysterious weapons were confiscated by the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and analyzed um, while they were on the moon. Now, with the Elders of the Universe and the Profiteer failing to recognize their origin despite her ample knowledge, the weapons were left behind. When the Unseen collected the weapons to study them himself, a recreation of Uatu, to fully manifest himself and emerge from Fury's eye, recognized the weapons were Watcher technology, and Uatu set out to prepare for an oncoming conflict and the return of the First War, and enlisted Fury to act as his operative. First War being between his people. Now, I know there was a lot of information thrown at you, and I do apologize, but Uatu has interfered multiple times, and I only talked about the very specific areas I thought were the most important. Now, let's talk about his powers and abilities, because all the Watchers pretty much have the same abilities for the most part, but we're going to talk about Uatu specifically. So, the Watcher possesses vast mental, physical, and energy manipulating powers. He's a telepath, meaning he's able to pretty much read the minds of anybody. And has invisibility telepathically, so he's able to block anybody from actually knowing who he is or where he is, unless, of course, that person is more powerful. He's able to generate illusions. He's able to manipulate energy at the cosmic level, so powerful that it can actually rival Galactus. Teleportation, time travel, force field generation. He can even use those force fields to contain his opponents. Flight, cosmic consciousness, meaning he's able to have an understanding and senses of the cosmic energy around him. Immortality. Although there have been ways to actually defeat them, they need to literally be destroyed at the molecular level and all their molecules being pretty much destroyed for them to die. But for the most part, they're immortal. And he's able to manipulate his size. Now, as always, Marvel does this power grid, and 7 being basically um, the most powerful, and 1 being the weakest. So his intelligence, strength, speed, durability, and energy projection are all at 7, the highest they could possibly be. Now, what gets me laughing a little bit is his fighting skills are at 1. They're super poor. Now, I think the reason for that is because with all that power and just being watching people all his eternities, all of the eternities, he really doesn't know how to fight and use that power properly. So that's why his fighting skills are so insignificant. So that's Uatu. Now we've seen him a lot, obviously, in What If, being just as powerful as we thought he could be, and seeing just how great he is. That being said, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. And also let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Is there a character you want me to do? Please let me know. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.